Alright, we got right front hub assembly spindle here hanging on the vise. Thought I'd take one of these apart, show y'all how it comes apart. The brakes and stuff, the brake shoes and stuff on the inside, and then we'll do one of the rear. Just to show you the disassembly process. I'm going to take them all apart and bag and tag all the pieces so I can go ahead and get these cleaned up and inspected and see if these drums are any good, and so I can get them cleaned up and painted. So let's take this thing apart. Start by knocking off this cap. I've already had this apart once and put it back together so I wouldn't lose the parts till I got something to put everything in. Well, there went the cap. There's our cap. This nut's held on by a screw, an Allen screw. Let's see. Find the size it is. And I don't know the size. Give me just a second. Had to put on my spectacles so I could see. That is a 6mm. Just loosen that off a little bit. And then the one on the right, this is the right front, it's got regular threads on it. So it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The one on the left is reverse. It's a lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. Get a rag. I'm fixing to get greasy. Alright. Loosen this nut off. And we'll stick that right in there. There's our outer bearing and a washer, a little spacer, and it's got a little notch right in the center of it, right there, that fits in a groove on there. I have to get these cleaned up and inspected and re-greased if they're still good. Yeah, lots of crusty stuff in there. Spider webs and stuff. See, there's your inner bearing. Alright. So disassembly of this stuff, it's not real difficult. You got two springs and retainers right here that hold your shoes on. Then they're held in place by a couple of springs. This is your wheel cylinder. This over here is the adjuster. Lots of stuff in there. Lots of dirt and debris. Now, one of these shoes is longer than the other one, and you have to know which one goes where when you go back together, because this is the way the brakes work. So I believe this one's shorter. Actually, last time I come in it, the brake lining came off. Right there. Put it up there. Looks to be about the same. Actually, they may be identical. I know in a lot of vehicles, one of them's longer than the other. I'll look at it more in depth when I get it apart. Alright, these right here got little slots in them. And a lot of times you can take your finger. I can't on that one because it's resting against my bench thingy there. Just turn these till they pop loose. And it's going to be difficult because I can't hold the back of it. Let's try that. There we go. That's just a little spring with a cup on it, with a slot on it, in it. You twist and turn, it holds it on. And that little pin right there has got got a little slot on it too. Okay. See if we can get the other one loose. Yep. I can actually get this one out and show you. See how that fits in there? It just goes in through there and then turns. Turns and then locks. Alright. Oh, drop that. Oh. Yeah, I think I just... another precaution you need to know about. They used to make these out of asbestos, these brake linings. So don't breathe the dust. Don't blow it with air. And it's best to probably wet this down with water. So give me just a minute and I'm going to do that. Okay. This is just water. If there's any asbestos dust in any of that, that'll keep it from flying around the air on us and getting in our lungs. This is not good. We can just spread these apart. Like this. And there they are. Okay. Yeah, these shoes they're identical. Okay. I'm going to leave them just like that. Maybe not. Okay. Throw all that stuff in the box. Okay, next. Got that little keeper right there. There we go. Get these bolts here to pull out to get the backing plate off. I need to pull the the wheel cylinder off. There's one bolt back there that holds it on. Alright, let me find a wrench for these. Okay, these are 15 millimeter that hold our backing plate on. Ooh, that's not good. There we go. I know this thing's fixing to fall out of my vise and hit the floor. Grab a rag. Go ahead and clean that off before I get it all over me. Oh yeah, look at that. See that? Those wheel cylinders are junk. That's a rubber boot. Just brittle. Those will all be replaced. Okay, they are knocked loose now. Yep. There's our backing plate off. And you got this little adjuster right here. This will all have to be taken apart, cleaned. They're just little screws. No big deal there. Wheel cylinders held on by this nut right here. Let's see if I can find a wrench for that. .13 millimeter holds that wheel cylinder on. Back in the day, I used to rebuild these wheel cylinders, but it's cheaper now just to replace them. Well, that should pop off of there. There we go. Just like that. Okay, yeah, these brake lines are all toast too. I don't know if y'all can see the cracks in that, but it's toast. Well, this right here will be, I'll take these apart, take these out, get this all cleaned up, get the threads cleaned up on them real good. Then I'll clean all this backing plate up, and paint it, as well as the spindle. So there's the front one. Front one's done. Disassembled, ready for cleaning and painting. And now we'll move on to the rear. Yep, got my hands dirty. Alright, let's move on to the rear of the car here and see what we can do. Get a little hammer. Alright. Let me work on that a little bit. Alright, so I had to oil it up a little bit. Gotcha. Now I got this tool right here. You can't use stock lug bolts because they're not long enough. I've got some bolts here that fit. This car does have an e-brake, so that's good. Release my e-brake. Okay. Alright, probably going to have to loosen that brake off a little bit. You can do that right through this hole right here. I just got to find where the adjuster is in there. Let me work on that. I'll bring you back. Okay, so after couple hours of soaking this thing in oil. I've got some oil here. It's called a Kano Croil. This is the best penetrating oil ever made as far as I'm concerned. And I've got some in a little like a Zoom bottle, or whatever you call it. Kept squirting that in there on them adjusters and beating on it with a hammer and screwdriver. Finally got them to break loose and loosen off. So there it is. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a pretty good lip on the inside of that drum that was catching on the brake shoes. And down here are the adjusters that were rusted up and frozen. Get you a little closer picture of that. There you go, you can see them pretty good right there. Those adjusters are, you know, you can only access it through that little bitty hole in the front. So taking this one apart, it's pretty much the same as the front drums, except I've got an e-brake lever right here, just a little cable that comes in, hooks over it. But I pull these little spring clips here off, pull the shoes off like I did before, and then these springs here, a spring here, and a spring here. Disconnect the e-brake. That'll get all the brakes parts off. Then take apart the wheel cylinder. Pull these 4 bolts here, which is going to pull that bearing cover off, and the backing plate will then come off. And I'm going to repeat this process on the other side. Get it all apart. Then I'm going to have lots of parts to clean and paint. But I've been busy cleaning and painting. I'll show you here. Busy cleaning and painting all this chassis up. I think the last time y'all see me painting on this, I done flipped it up on its side and done the bottom. But I got all the chassis cleaned up and painted. Got the front beam cleaned up and painted. I've got over here, got all the trailing arms cleaned up and painted. New ball joints in them. They're all ready to go. But now I've got a lot more parts to clean and paint. These are the rotors off the front. And I've got all this to clean up and paint, and the one on the other side over there. So I'll get all this stuff cleaned up and painted. I'm going to start reassembling. Get this front beam back on. Get the trailing arms put back on. I get all these cleaned up and painted. We'll start reassembling that. Then I got to buy some brake parts. These rotors, these front rotors up here are in pretty good shape. One of them had a little bit of a lip on it. I think they might turn out. I don't know. I have to take them somewhere and get them turned. The back ones, I don't think those are going to make it. I think they're too thin, but we'll see. But that's going to be about do it for this one. This oil right here, this Kano oil, Kano Croil oil. It's really good stuff. I'm not sponsored by them or anybody, but you come across this stuff and you need good penetrating oil, this stuff works. You can't beat it. Alright, so I've come to a point in this project where I've got to spend some real money. Brakes. I've measured all these rotors, or not rotors, the drums. 2 of them are way out of tolerance. 2 of them are borderline possible. So after they're turned, you know, where they take them and machine them and you know, round them out. I'm thinking after that, the 2 that I've got that are close are probably not going to be any good, or if they are, they're going to be right there on the edge. So I've either got to buy all new drums for this, new wheel cylinders, brake lines, bearings, bearing seals, possibly a new master cylinder. I've got one that might work. I don't know yet. I'm going to try it before I buy a new one to see if it'll work. But then again, I'm looking at the other side of this with going with disc brake conversion, and that may be a thing. I'm not sure which one's going to be cheaper. I haven't added up all the components for drum brakes yet, but I know disc brake conversion, I'm looking at about probably around $1,200–$1,300 to do the front and the back. So I've got some thinking to do. I've still got some other things I can do before we do that. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I gotta do some thinking about it because my pockets ain't real full right now. So that's what I want to do. I want to think about it, see which direction I need to go, and maybe check around on some prices and stuff, see what kind of prices I can get. But until we get there, we'll just keep going on with other things. I've still got some reassembly to do on the front end, and getting all the front end put back together and cleaned up. But the brakes is kind of a showstopper, you know, as far as, you know, having the money to do this. I'm not a rich man. I don't have any supporters, so yeah, this is on me. So it's a project I'm doing, and I'll get there eventually, but we're gonna go as far as we can, keep going, and we'll see how it all works out. But until later, I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep trying to put out some content on something. I mean, I want to continue on this project, but until I get the funds, the financial funds to keep going on it, I may be working on some other things in between. But I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate y'all spending time with me, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. And thanks for watching. Thanks.